How's everybody doing? We are good. It's always a great day when William Henry is your roadie. How cool is that? I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Welcome to the 2022 Conscious Life Expo. Let's go. Now, I am going to, what's the dog's name? Gigolo? I'm just going to leave that right there. I got nothing. I just want to say this. I'm going to keep this brief because William, I'm going to say a couple of comments about William. When he talks, he gets my attention. And of course, we know that he has been a contributing producer for Ancient Aliens since the beginning of the series. And the way that he speaks and shares his knowledge in Egypt and his tours and his books and everything, all that's great. I'm not going to go there. William and I just did a film together. It's called The Observers. And if you haven't seen it, I hope that you do check it out. But something happened for me that was great as we were filming the movie. Now, I want you to picture for a second what was going on. In one room, I'm sitting here. Next to me is Whitley Strieber. Next to Whitley is Richard Dolan. Over here is William Henry. And sitting over here is Linda Moulton Howe. Holy crap, right? We are sitting having a conversation. Now, at any moment, Dolan or Whitley or Linda, you stop and you pay attention. I sat there for hours with the cameras rolling, watching Linda, Whitley, and Richard stop and listen to William Henry. And it happened, and so at the end of the day, I go up to everybody and I was saying, did you hear what William had to say? And it was such a special moment for me. And that is who is coming up to this stage. He means so much. I do nothing but absorb everything that he does. If you haven't seen The Observers, go check it out. You'll understand what I'm saying. Ancient Aliens is now in their 18th season. Incredible. 18th season. Hey, Gigolo. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Welcome to the 2022 Conscious Life Expo. Please welcome our good friend, William Henry. Love you, brother.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Jimmy. That was really, really kind. A little over the top, but really kind. So great to see everybody here and to be back in Los Angeles for the Conscious Life Expo. I was here for the first expo. I was, 12? Yeah, 19 years ago. Wow, okay. And I know we were moving in this direction then, and now here it is. So the topic of my presentation today is resist the reset. By that, I'm obviously talking about the global reset. The premise here is that everything that is presently transpiring, all the weirdness in our world, is referenced in the book of Revelation. And you don't have to be a card-carrying Christian. You don't even have to be a Reformed one or anything to read the book of Revelation and recognize that it's got a roadmap for recurring or cyclical events. The scenario in the book of Revelation could have happened 2,000 years ago. It can happen 2,000 years from now, and it's happening today. And that's my premise. And in my view, it is probably the best navigator or map through our times. It gives us the most reference points for what is transpiring and then what is to come. And one of the key premises of the book of Revelation that we're going to talk a bit about today is this idea of a beast that takes on physicality and goes Godzilla on us. And we are just steps away from manifesting that type of a scenario. And this is going to be a fear-based presentation, but we are going to address the symbolism that is in the book of Revelation. So to begin, John the Revelator is in a scene. He's part of these Jewish mystics, a tribe of mystics. They were, some of them were Buddhists, some of them were what we consider the first Christians. Others were Jewish. They came from throughout the Middle East. They gathered together, and John is the benefactor of their wisdom, and he is addressing his scenes when he is presenting his visions in the book of Revelation, received in 70 AD in the island of Patmos. Specifically, the chapters we want to be concerned with are chapters 20 through 22. Just happens to be 22. It's kind of a fun numbers game. This is the basis for everybody around this planet. Some people are on this ascension path, and they're like, I'm going from 3D to 5D. Well, what does that mean? Well, this is exactly what John the Revelator was describing, because John the Revelator's book of Revelation is the baseline for all ascension teachings in the West today. Whether you acknowledge it or not, he is the source. My consideration to you would be that if you are on this ascension path and you've dispensed with Christianity in all of its forms or any of its forms, please be mindful that this is the origins of it, and it's very helpful to understand that and to use it as a map through where you're going. In John's experience, he goes over the Rainbow Bridge of Consciousness. He goes to, has a vision where the heavens open. There's a tear in the sky, opening of a stargate or a wormhole. He gets a vision of the resurrected Christ sitting on a throne with the rainbow around him, as well as all these other ascended beings who have already completed the earthly cycle that you and I are seeking to complete. And he says, there I saw the throne of God. He saw the Ark of the Covenant there. There's one on earth and one in the heavens. And he describes a perpetual heavenly light. And this is what the Essenes were largely devoted to, was bringing that perpetual heavenly light to earth, baptizing everyone and everything, raising all to a higher level of existence, merging heaven and earth. And that is the real key part of the book of Revelation. But along the way, John describes there was a war in heaven. We don't know exactly when this war took place. We know who the players are. We know that the Archangel Michael was involved. We know that he fought the angels of the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought. Now, this introduces a very important character in our story, and that is not just the Archangel Michael, but it's this dragon. What is this dragon that we're talking about in space? Revelation 12. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast with him. Now, if this is an episode of Ancient Aliens, we're saying, okay, the dragon is a spacecraft. The dragon is some kind of advanced alien species that has dramatically advanced technology. And the Archangel Michael, using his organic, natural, angelic powers, fights with this technological being and casts it into the earth. And what if that dragon rises from time to time and takes on different incarnations? And what if during our time, the dragon manifests as a conglomerate of technological companies based in Beijing, Silicon Valley, and other centers around the world? What if that is actually what is transpiring? That is what I'm largely putting on the table for you today, is that when the Archangel Michael is dispensing with these dragons, and we can look at them historically in all of their forms, they appear in the Babylonian, the Sumerian, the Egyptian tradition. We're always battling dragons. So it's like people knew about this otherworldly being that we characterize as a dragon. In the Essene vernacular, the dragons are part of what are called the principalities, the powers of the air. They're called the archons to the Gnostics. And they're nasty beings. They don't have souls, and they want your soul. And they are subservient to this dragon, and one of the key things they want you to do is to prevent you from leaving this material realm. This is the prison planet scenario, where the archons are essentially creating this reality for us to harvest energy from us. Loosh is what Robert Monroe called it. Souls is another perspective. But the key thing for them is they want to keep you locked into the material realm. Now, Lou Elizondo, who I'm sure you're familiar with in the UFO disclosure movement, has talked about what is the conversations are about in the U.S. government relative to UFO disclosure and the disclosure of the existence of extraterrestrials. And some claim that the U.S. military is holding back on UFO disclosure because it's demonic. Now, if I would have heard this 5 years ago, I would have walked out of the room, because I really didn't believe in demons 5 years ago. But more and more people like Elon Musk started referencing the connection between AI as a demonic technology. And it perked my attention. So I started recognizing that, okay, this could be a possibility. And this becomes a refrain over and over. And now here it is in UFO disclosure. The US government is not going to fully disclose what's going on with aliens because they're demons. They are the very same demons that are part of this dragon cult that we're talking about in the book of Revelation. The same dragon that then engenders two beasts, according to Revelation. The first beast comes out of the sea, which Carl Jung said is our subconscious, but it could literally be the earthly oceans. It could be the cosmic ocean. And it's given authority and power by the dragon, this greater force. The first beast, as initially mentioned in Revelation 11, is coming out of the abyss and is described in detail throughout Revelation. Then the second beast comes out of the earth. So first out of the sea, the second out of the earth, and it directs all peoples of the earth to worship the first beast. And here's the catch where it becomes relevant for our times. The second beast is associated with the false prophet who causes all, both small and great, both rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand and on their forehead so that no one may buy, sell, or trade except those that have the name of the beast and the number of his name. Okay, so we hear about this for century on century, and now we just happen to be living in a time where suddenly the technology is there to make this a reality. And since the year 2000, I've been writing about transhumanism relative to ascension. In 2002, I published Cloak of the Illuminati. 2015, The Skingularity is Near, which was about all of the technology going into our skin. And I said then, don't let them break the skin barrier. Unless it's life or death, or unless it's temporary, do not let them break the skin barrier, because once they get under your skin, they're literally, now you're strung up like a puppet on a string. And that's the caution. Well, what kind of technology could we be talking about that would involve a mark on the forehead and a mark on the hand as described in Revelation? And as I think about it today, I'm thinking, how about virtual reality? How about literally putting glasses on your forehead? So now this world disappears, and now you're in another world. How about some kind of remote control that goes in the hand, and that now you are strung up to this new reality? This is a fake ascension. This is what the archons are noted for, according to some of the Gnostic texts, using simulation to trick a soul into entering into a promised land that is not a promised land. You've all probably, I'm sure, heard Elon Musk saying we should be very careful about artificial intelligence and all things related to it, virtual reality, nanotechnology, big pharma, that whole cluster of technologies. He says, if I had to guess at what our biggest existential threat is, it's probably that. That's a perfect correspondence with the book of Revelation. And then he says, with artificial intelligence, we're summoning the demon directly. So that gets our attention. We're thinking Elon Musk is mercurial, he's sometimes confused, but sometimes he's telling us straight what is going on. That with AI, we're making a deal with an otherworldly intelligence. AI, artificial intelligence. How about AI, alien intelligence? It's sourced from humans, supposedly, but it's acting against humans. It's anti-human intelligence. And I've long thought about this in the context of Satan taking Jesus up to the top of the pinnacle of Solomon's temple in Jerusalem and saying, all of this can be yours. And that's the bargain that AI and Silicon Valley makes with us. It's like, just give us your children. Come on, man, put your children on the altar here. We'll turn them into super kids. You know, we'll give them an intelligence of 10,000. They'll live to be 400 years old. They will never have to work a day in their life. Just give them to us. That's where Silicon Valley is at right now. And it's that way for many people. The promise of this technology, and will you submit to the dragon, is the question behind this. Because I've started to think about, well, what if Elon Musk again says that a brain parasite is forcing humans to create superhuman AI? A parasite, a brain parasite, is exactly how the Gnostics thought of the archons, that they could enter into our consciousness and take over our brains. So Musk is either, I don't know, going beyond microdosing here, as he's known to do, and getting into some other waters, or he's speaking truth to what is really going on here, that AI is in fact a parasite, and that it has entered into human consciousness. And that's quite an unsettling thought. But then you take it a step forward and you realize that Musk is the very same guy that wants to implant his Neuralink technology in us to wire us all up to the Internet of Bodies. And here's a little clip here of this chimp that he's taught to play Pong through neural implants. And I need some audio, if I may, please.
One of the things the Neuralinks allow Pager to do is to play his favorite video game, Pong. To control his paddle on the right side of the screen, Pager simply thinks about moving his hand up or down. We've removed the joystick altogether. Now that he's up to speed, let's increase the difficulty and see how well Pager can play with the Neuralink. We can interact with the Neuralinks simply by pairing them to an iPhone, just as you might pair your phone to a Bluetooth speaker.
So,
the links
on the one hand, Musk is saying, watch out for the AI demon. And on the other, he's the guy that's building the implants where you can just think and you're linked into the Internet of Bodies. What's actually happening, says Ray Kurzweil, who's Google's big brain, and he said this in 2017, it's 5 years ago now, is that AI systems are powering all of us. They're making us smarter, but they may not be inside our bodies yet. By the 2030s, they will connect our neocortex, the part of our brain where we do our thinking, to the cloud. And the bargain here is that why wouldn't you want to be connected with the cloud? You'll have the intelligence of all 7 billion people on the planet. Come on, darling, just take the chip. All right, that's the bargain. That's the trade-off. That's what they're offering to us. And it is, I'm not going to use the word demonic in the Christian sense, but it is exactly what the book of Revelation is talking about. We are trying to connect everyone on this planet to the Internet of Brains, as it's called, or also the Internet of Bodies. And this is why 5G is so important. With 3G, 4G running around, we're essentially safe from this technology. When 5G comes in, as it is now, that's when the implants are possible. That's when you have no iteration, you have no dropout on the network. You are good to go to start putting the implants in and communicating all 7.5 billion of us in real time. And as we conduct 5G in our body, we'll be growing a new body and a new skin packed with AI devices that turns us into superhuman beings, or biodots, part human, part digital beings. That's the premise of the Great Reset. That is what the Fourth Industrial Revolution is about. That is what all these governments are talking about when they use an expression like build back better. That came from the World Economic Forum. It means starting to merge you with AI, turn you into a puppet. And this is something that every major corporation on the planet right now is involved in. Apple, Samsung, back here, Hollywood, they are all involved in this transformation because they know they can make trillions of dollars in the process. It is all about money for these people, merging us with machines so that they can make trillions of dollars and ultimately fulfill the prophecy in the book of Revelation along the way. So let's talk a little bit more specifically about this reset. This is a clip from the World Economic Forum. They're the guys in Davos, Switzerland, that have been thinking they're running the world for the past 10 years or so. And they put out this clip in 2019 to encapsulate where we're at now and where they feel that we should go.
We are wondering what is happening to the world. Everything is changing.
The very idea of human being some sort of natural concept is really going to change.
Our bodies will be so high-tech, we won't be able to really distinguish between what's natural and what's artificial.
Inside our own heads is the most complex arrangement of matter in the known universe.
You might ask yourself, can we get to be superhumans?
That's enough of that. I mean, that tells you exactly where these people are coming from. The very idea of humans being some sort of natural concept is really going to change, and the World Economic Forum is saying, we are the ones who are changing it. We have decided that after however many millions of years we've been on this planet and how many thousands of years we've begun to evolve rapidly, that we are now going to put our hands in these humans, perverts, that want our children. They don't want me. I'm 59 years old. They're not looking for me. They're looking for my grandchildren because they want to turn them into little puppets on their string, little robots who are no longer have any connection to the natural world. That's the Great Reset. That's what they mean by Green New Deal. Build back better. Green cities are cities in which our little fake humans are living in a fake community, all wired together and totally controlled remotely. Our bodies will be so high-tech we won't be able to tell the difference between what is real and what is artificial. If that is not demonic, trying to literally confuse people so you can't tell the difference between what is real and what is artificial, I don't know what is. I mean, that is the essence of it, is they're essentially saying your natural being, your spiritual being, your soul does not matter. We are Apple Computer. We are Samsung. We are Sony. We are Hollywood. And we are sick of you humans, you pathetic human beings, you organic human beings who have totally screwed up this planet. And the way we're going to bring in a green new planet is we're going to turn you into fake inorganic beings. That's their plan. And that is what is transpiring right now. And this is why they use climate change as one of their primary drivers of this. We're going to do this. We're going to turn yourself into a machine in order to save the natural world. Okay? That's what they're saying. They're opening the black box of the brain, as they say later in that clip. And so you might ask yourself, can we get to be superhuman? Yeah, we can, but we can do it organically. And that has been my platform since literally the year 2000 when I first started writing about this, is that yes, we can get to be superhuman, but we've got to do it organically.
Getting ready to fight COVID.
All of us want to be superheroes, and the most important heroes are those that help others. This year, thousands of kids like us around the world joined the COVID-19 vaccine trial.
Kid power.
And when they did, they became all superheroes.
Ah!
To all the kids who volunteered, we'd like to say,
thank you! Thank you!
Thank you for sharing your superpowers of
courage,
trying new things,
the ability to save people,
the power to help people,
helping not just yourself, but many other kids.
to not be scared,
Be strong,
super brave,
bravery and courage,
a superhero shot, helping everybody,
fight coronavirus and help others.
You're helping the whole entire world. Thank you. You are all superheroes.
Thank you!
Thank you, superheroes.
Thank you!
You're awesome.
Yeah, superheroes, the super shot. Break that skin barrier. Get in there. Get in there. Boost them, boost them. Don't teach them how to ascend organically. Boost them with our inorganic technology, our synthetic technology. Turn them into fake little machines. And let's make money doing it. That's demonic, in my opinion. That is sacrificing our children on the altar of big tech, okay? And that's what we're doing to save the planet. To save the planet, okay? Let's be very clear that this is exactly what is happening right now. A superhero shot? Really, okay? It wasn't how it was sold to us. In anticipation of the singularity, which is when all the AI that we've created, it becomes smarter than all of us combined. That moment is coming between now and 2030, according to the big tech swingers and the big brains that work for these people. Between now and 2030, the singularity will happen when the AI takes over. Elon Musk says, I hope AI treats us like we treat kittens. That's what he hopes is going to happen. Nobody knows what's going to happen after that. It's like driving off a cliff. But it's very clear that it's on its way to happening. Recent advancements in the Internet of Things are transforming the human body into a new technology platform. That is also a key component of this whole plan. Right now, we're fully immersed in the Internet of Things. Your watch, your toaster, your car, your microwave oven, your computers, all linked together with billions of other objects that they call the Internet of Things. There's literally 100 billion of these objects that are all linking together. And they're all talking to each other and communicating. The next step of that is the Internet of Bodies, which our body actually becomes the platform for this technology. And in the view of the big tech swingers, this is an advancement. This is a perfection of the human race, okay? It reminds me when Jack Nicholson played the Joker in the Batman movie, and he cut up everyone's faces and said, now you're transformed. Like it's a good thing, right? It's the same type of thing. They're saying we're going to perfect the human race by packing it full of this technology. We're going to turn everybody into puppets and get everybody to be as one. And then we will finally solve all of our problems. An Internet of Body device is defined by RAND. And now, mind you, RAND is usually a company that's part of Raytheon and the military-industrial complex. But they're commenting here about the Internet of Bodies and saying that an IOB device is something that contains software or computing capabilities, can communicate with an interconnected device or network, collects your health and biometric data, and can alter the human body's function. Well, here's a clip from RAND that is warning about us becoming just hackable animals once they have this ability, once they've broken the skin barrier and the technology is running freely through us.
In the 20th century, wireless technology integrated with the human body was nothing more than science fiction. But today, Wi-Fi connected devices like heart rate monitors and sleep trackers have become common parts of American life. How has bionic technology evolved so quickly from science fiction to reality? And what could this Internet of Bodies mean for our lives moving forward? RAND researchers are studying this phenomenon and what consumers and policymakers need to know as we veer into uncharted territory.
The Internet of Bodies, or IOB, is actually an ecosystem. It's a bunch of devices that are connected to the internet that contain software and that either collect personal health data about you or can alter the body's function. We think of the Internet of Bodies as this collection of all these devices as well as all the data that the devices are gathering about you. And in healthcare, Internet of Bodies has been around for quite a while. With the advent of the internet, it makes a lot of sense to connect your pacemaker to the internet so that your doctor can be automatically notified if something weird happens, if there's an anomaly. It's natural in a lot of ways to want to understand more about your body, how it functions, how well it's doing.
IOB devices could revolutionize healthcare. Unprecedented amounts of personal health data could inform treatment plans that are completely tailored to a patient's needs.
There are pills now that have an electronic sensor that let a healthcare provider know whether you have taken the medication. Other things like precision medicine. So precision medicine is the idea of creating pharmaceuticals or treatment like specifically for your body, for your personalized treatment. And I think IOB could really help with that because nowadays a lot of healthcare is based more on, average reactions, whereas with data from IOB devices, you might be able to really more precisely treat a certain disease.
But the Internet of Bodies won't be a cure-all. In fact, the largely unregulated market poses risks to the uniquely sensitive data these devices collect.
You get the idea. The key thing is they're viewing you as data and a device, and they're collecting all this data on you, and what are they doing with it? They know you better than you do. And the danger here is the misuse of this data, as they already have a well-established track record of doing, looks disastrous as it continues. But the other key point is that the Internet of Bodies is an ecosystem. This is very important to recognize because what they're actually doing is creating a new layer of civilization on top of our existing reality. And in order to enter into this new layer, to buy, sell, and trade, you're going to have to play ball with them, okay? So you're starting to see all these ideas about an AI ecosystem, an artificial ecosystem. An ecosystem is supposed to be natural, right? But they're talking about a whole synthetic ecosystem that we are now all embedded in 24/7. And humans are now, from their point of view, just a part of the supply chain. You're equivalent to a toaster, a smart oven, or a car to them, okay? What I'm following is the way that this works with the soul, because there are spiritual implications to everything that I'm saying that are not being discussed. They're just ramrodding us with this technology without considering the spiritual implications of what is happening. And part of the reason why that is because this whole Internet of Bodies, Internet of Things idea is military. It's run by the US military in NORAD in Colorado Springs, California, and it's run from satellites. It's all extraterrestrial. This whole new layer of civilization that is emerging will ultimately be the new world promised in the book of Revelation in reverse, okay? It's a mocking or a mimicking of the new kingdom of heaven spread out on the earth. We're beginning now, and has been for the past 6 months or so, every living thing will be irradiated with 5G raining from the sky, and that becomes the fire that drives this new ecosystem that they are layering on top of our reality. Think of Elon Musk's swarm cloud, Starlink, 20,000 satellites, 24/7, 365, beaming, irradiating, baptize humanity in 5G frequencies that drive all of this technology going into our bodies that makes us part of this ecosystem. There is nothing natural about it at all. In fact, it is all anti-natural. And this is occurring at exactly the same time that the book of Revelation says that a new humanity and a new earth would emerge after the old earth was burned up. So what are we talking about here in terms of a fire frequency that transmutes humanity? Is that what 5G is? Yes, it is to the big tech swingers. The Christian prophecy says, well, John the Baptist comes along and he says, there's one coming after me. I'm not even worthy of holding this guy's sandals. And John says, I baptize in water, but he will baptize in fire. And that fire will transmute or separate wheat from chaff. Well, in the Christian vernacular, that fire is the Holy Spirit that transfigures us into Christ-like beings. But if we look at it in light of the anti-prophecy here with the 5G, it is a form of a fire that also will separate wheat from chaff. And to the big tech swingers, if you're not taking the implants and you're not part of the Internet of Bodies, you're not the wheat. You're the chaff they want to get rid of. Because to them, the golden ones, the wheat, are the ones that have their bodies packed full of this technology and are totally controllable. And that's where we're at right now with 5G.
I think there's going to be a lot of breakthroughs on the medical front, particularly around synthetic mRNA. You can basically do anything with synthetic RNA, DNA. It's like a computer program. So, I think with enough, with effort, that's not too crazy. You could probably stop aging, reverse it if you want. You can basically do it. You can turn someone into a freaking butterfly if you want with the right DNA sequence.
Thank you, Elon. Gives us an idea about what mRNA technology is really all about. It's not just a vaccine, it's a method of transfiguring the body, of turning it in from one thing into another. Organic, God-created being, inorganic, being controlled by Mark Zuckerberg, right? That's where we're at right now with this technology. And the Hopi Indians prophesied this as well. As told by the Hopi, a mastodonic spider web will weave a gigantic web, a mastodonic spider will weave a gigantic web around the world, a web that unites all people and objects in nature and transform them into a single emergent phenomena. When this phenomena finally emerges, according to the Hopi, history is complete. Well, that web started to form on December 25th, 1990, when the World Wide Web was born. And now we're all part of this emergent phenomena This is the whole oneness idea turned on its head. Yeah, we're all one, and we're all going to be united by Intel chips stuffed in every orifice of our body. We're all going to plug into this new ecosystem. And what I'm asking you to think about is that this is actually a fulfillment of the prophecy in the book of Revelation. John said, I saw a new heaven and a new earth, and he envisioned something like on the left here, not this nightmare on the right. But we're rapidly creating the nightmare on the right, where we have this new infrastructure coming along that's driven by the military from space, and we are all now essentially captured by this technology. And the new switched on human will be embedded in this parallel new earth. And as we're going to develop our conversation here, they've got a plan here to move us out of our physical bodies into our digital bodies that live in this parallel world. The key for you right now, your portal for getting into that new earth, if you choose to do that, is your QR code. That is the front door, the gate, the portal of all of this, tracking and tracing you through the smart cities, every move that you make. When you're carrying this phone and you got your QR codes, your contract with the system will be done through these codes. Every door that will open for you will be open because you have the right QR code, because you've behaved. You've done what they want you to do. And if you don't have the QR code, access will be denied to that train, plane, automobile, food source, job, mortgage. This is called the social credit system in China, and now it's part of California life, right? But I'm really proud to see all of you rising up and rebelling this weekend. You know, when I living in Nashville, yeah, way to go, give yourself a round of applause. Yeah. Viewing California from the perspective of Nashville, where we haven't worn a mask for 6 months and we don't even think about COVID anymore hardly, is a real eye-opener. You're thinking, wow, where am I going? You know, and you get out here and you see all these smiling faces who are pushing back against it, and I think that's wonderful, and that's exactly what needs to happen, because you're one step away from having your life totally controlled by QR codes, gaining access to this new reality that they're creating, accepting the 5G, accepting the technology, and recognizing, hey, that's just the way it is. And oh, by the way, I like to play video games with my mind, right? That will be some people. They're like, no, I don't want one of these awful organic human bodies anymore. I'm much prefer the new digital ones that we're creating online. Let me have that. If Google is right, in less than 15 years, all of humanity will be hybrid beings. I said that 10 years ago. I said that 10 years ago. Google has already planned this. It's the elephant in the room, I said, and few are presently talking about it, but everyone will soon confront it. And we confronted it in the spring of 2020. That's when the beast really made its presence known, that there's something weird going on in our world. There's another layer. Something is unfolding with all this coronavirus stuff, and we got to grasp this picture. And that's what I'm hoping to provide today. There's no doubt that artificial general intelligence, when AI takes on this super intelligence that is human-level intelligence, is on its way, and it's only a matter of when, not if, it's going to happen. Consequently, my grandchildren, your grandchildren and children, will be living with an alien species. There will be another super intelligent being walking beside them. We don't know what that relationship is going to be yet, but I call this being super alien intelligence, or psi. We have a generation of kids that are being raised right now to live with these beings, to be part of them, even to merge with them. So imagine being exposed to this specific mindset when you're 3 years old, when you're 2 years old, 4 and 5. Yeah, you got to keep your mask on in school, even though it doesn't work. It doesn't do anything. We're taking away your individuality, Bubba. That's what this is about. Now sit down and shut up. You're just a toaster. You're just a microwave oven. That's all you are, and you don't matter, okay? You only matter to the extent of what we can extort from your body. That's the big tech swingers' point of view. They might not articulate it quite exactly like that, but that is what they are intending, and they're coming, as I said, after our children. Google says artificial intelligence could be our savior. Our savior, really? So their savior is the demon of the book of Revelation. Okay? The big tech swinger savior, the new super alien intelligence they want to introduce, is the demon, the beast of the book of Revelation. That is what I've surmised from looking into this. It is the very same scenario I described earlier with Jesus and the devil on the peak of Solomon's temple. Try and advance this slide. Are you aware that neon is Samsung's new business? Some of you have a Samsung phone. You might have one of their crappy washers and dryers. I hope not. I had to replace mine this summer. It's very expensive. They didn't make the board anymore. The thing was 3 years old, and Samsung doesn't make any replacement parts for it. So you got to buy a whole new washer and dryer, right? Samsung is also in the replacement human business. They're creating beings online called neon. Now, I'm saying to you, the big tech swingers are getting ready to introduce a beast, a super alien intelligence that will take on human physicality. That is my read on all of this. And just 2 years ago, Samsung began collaborating with the Advanced Research Lab in the US to develop the latest artificial intelligence platform that may be the most human-like AI ever created. What they've created, they call Neon. Ultra-realistic avatars that are indistinguishable from real humans, okay? Now think about this as you watch this clip.
I could be one of many.
Je pourrais être architecte.
Ou guide.
Quizá un artista.
You create the narrative.
I am metahuman.
I could be the one? You mean like the one? The avatar, the Christ, the Messiah? That's what they're saying. So this is Samsung, one of the world's largest corporations, saying, we're now in the replacement human business. We realize everything is moving into the digital realm. We're creating this new ecosphere. It's got to be populated. Well, they're going to populate it with their neons. They're intended for customer service. When you call the phone company now, or you call the electric company, you're talking with AI already. What they ultimately are saying is, well, we're going to create these neons that will live behind the glass, and when you go online, you'll deal with one of these replacement humans. But that's step one, because the engineers themselves have said these new beings that we're creating, that we're making in our image, by the way, which means we're playing God. This is the book of Genesis restarting all over again, with the big tech swingers playing God and creating new human beings in their image. But the engineers themselves say that these beings won't continue to live behind the glass. They're intended to cross over the glass and take on physicality, which means all of those fake humans that you just saw are intended ultimately to populate this world as replacement humans. Here's another example. You're familiar with Michaela.
You still love me right back. Love me right. You still love me right back. Love me right. You still.
Michaela does not exist. She's a synthetic being that lives online. She's a neon. But millions of kids who follow her on Instagram don't realize that, because she's taking pictures with famous models and actresses, and they think that she's actually real. They can't tell the difference between what is real and what is artificial. That's the point. You shouldn't distinguish between your real self and your artificial self either. That's the message. And more the message is going to be, why do you want one of these natural bodies? What you really want is one of these these online avatars. You can be anything, you can do anything, you can go anywhere, and you can have multiple versions of yourself. You can even be the most beautiful version of yourself.
Human cooperation is the most powerful force in human history. Humans cooperate in a constant feedback loop involving emotion, it's involving shared attention, it's involving communication, and it's involving teamwork. The next era will be defined by human cooperation with intelligent machines. We have to build computers that can understand us and we can understand them in an intuitive manner. My name's Mark Sager, and with my team, I've been developing autonomous virtual humans and characters.
Autonomous virtual humans
Soul
and characters.
Machines is humanizing computing. So we're building computers that you can have face-to-face interactions with in a human-like manner. They have their own brains, which are driving their behavior, virtual nervous systems, virtual bodies. They can learn in real time. They can be empathetic. They can interact. They can speak. They can do all kinds of things which we can do. And it gives us a natural way for us to interact with the computer just like we can interact with another person.
So we're creating artificial beings in our image. And when they start talking with your kids and your grandkids about creating an avatar, you think, oh, that's just like a cartoon, like George Jetson or something. No, this is what they're actually talking about. They're talking about populating this new ecosphere, this online realm, with beings that are indistinguishable from you and I. Well, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with my organic self? Why can't I remain an organic being? And the answer from their perspective is climate change. There's too many of you. We got to save the planet. So we're going to get you to ascend. We're going to get you to drop your physical body and ascend into our black box, where you can become an avatar. You can look angelic if you want. And you can go stay in there and you can make anything you want to happen. It's like, you know, Wonderland on steroids, right? Here, kitty, kitty, come on. You can do it. Just drop your physical body. Give us what we want, right? And that's where we're at right now. And that's what we're doing to our children. This is a subject that I think about a lot and have been writing about, well, as I said, for a couple of decades now. But I want to refer you to, if you're looking to deepen your understanding, experience of this, go to my website, williamhenry.net. You can read articles like Homo Cosmicus, Russia, the next perfect human, and our migration to space, which is in large part what all of this transhumanism business is about not only creating a new ecosphere on Earth, but being able to go live on Mars and on other planets. I recommend In the Twinkling of an Eye, 5G, the alien invasion in our transforming world, where humanity will transform more and faster in the next 5 years than in all of human history. That was Merrill Lynch talking about all the trillions of dollars the big tech swingers are going to make by merging us with AI. And that was 4 years ago. 5G, humanity's baptism by fire, looks at the spiritual implications very deeply of what's coming with AI and transhumanism. That's from 2019, and then the Great Reset and the new class of human, which is what started to occur in 2020. And I wrote that article in November 25th, 2020. And that takes us into the alien card, where UFO disclosure comes on strong in the summer of 2020, and then in 2021, we get more, and we start to get the talk that there's a demonic component to this, another tie into our thesis here about the book of Revelation. But ultimately where this is going, in my view, is what I would discuss in my article, Love and the Angelic Uprising, the Great Reset and the Ultimate Revolutionary Act. This is from January 9th, 2021, so just a year ago, where I was talking about the big tech swingers' creation of this super alien intelligence, or psi. And I got to thinking of this new god, this genie, this demon, as what is called an egregore. And an egregore is an esoteric term for a genie that pops out of the bottle. And that is what is happening with these artificial humans. They're starting to pop out of the black box, okay? And they have all these extraordinary capabilities. The egregore is an autonomous entity composed of and influencing the thoughts of a group of people. It's also a conduit for a psychic intelligence of a non-human nature connecting with invisible dimensions and the material world in which we live. So imagine this super alien intelligence coming out of the black box that's, what, 1,000,000 times smarter than you? It takes on physicality. It might take on individual physicality. Remember, everybody's got their own implant, so you might see this SAI being, this Psi being, as a gorgeous female. You might see it as a gorgeous male. It could be a cat, could be a dog, could be almost anything your subconscious wants it to be. Either way, what this is, according to the Jewish tradition, is a golem. And it's a no-no to create these golems. But even Reese Witherspoon is tweeting about this now, saying, in the near future, every person will have a parallel digital identity. Avatars, crypto wallets, digital goods will be the norm. Are you planning for this? No, I'm not. Okay? I'm planning on not participating in this, Reese. Thank you very much. But Hollywood is shoving this down our throat, saying you really want to become an avatar. You want to become a fake human being, and you want to have this double digital entity over here so everybody can go do whatever they want to do online as this fake human being. That's the egregore. Okay, this is a completely artificial being that's a technological thought form that is now emerging from the black box, or will soon be, and in my view is what the book of Revelation is describing when it talks about a beast that everybody is forced to worship. That we will worship this AI beast, this egregore, that could even take on physicality, and those who don't worship the beast are going to be in big trouble, according to Revelation. But then there's a whole other group of people, as we're going to discuss, whose sole existence is to stop this beast. And they're referred to the 144,000, or referred to as the 144,000 in the book of Revelation. They refuse the mark of the beast and instead activate what is called the seal of God. The seal of God is, in my opinion, our light body, our rainbow light body, our natural, organic, ascended body that we can all develop. And they are the ones who begin to slow down this beast and ultimately defeat the beast, and then introduce the new kingdom of heaven spread out on the earth as John the Revelator described. But what I'm saying is that I believe that the Silicon Valley companies and in Beijing and elsewhere, what they are doing is conjuring this demon right now. That is ultimately where this technology is leading. And whether they're aware of it or not, that is the big picture of where all of this is headed. And it's up to us who value the human race, value the human soul, to decide that enough is enough. And it's not only that decision we have to make, we have to then take the next extraordinary steps to unzip the seal within us and begin to display our full light body capabilities and how we can live in this new kingdom of heaven and make that more attractive to our kids than this. This is the competition right here, is the mark of the beast, is the VR glasses and what's going in the hand and all other parts of the body. And of course, you've got drivers for this. They now call this the metaverse, right? Remember the Samsung neons, I am meta, right? I am meta because I live in the metaverse, this parallel universe. Zuckerberg realized Facebook really sucks. It's a criminal enterprise. And so what he decided to do, he changes the name and says, I'm going to go create my own parallel universe. Well, that's what demons do, right? They don't transform themselves. They go over here and start tormenting a whole other group of people, right? And now they're setting up the metaverse. And in this metaverse, you'll never know if you're talking to a real or a synthetic person. And what we're starting to see are glimpses of what this metaverse could look like, this new augmented reality that's superimposed over ours that is now gunning for your kids and gunning for your grandkids' souls. Yeah, it's fun, it's game-like. And all of this is viewed as a game from these military industrial companies that are involved in this. But just because they view it as a game doesn't mean that it's fun in games. There are spiritual implications for the entire human race and the entire future of humanity that are on the line with the decisions that you and I are making today. Quick clip from The Guardian about the metaverse.
Imagine you put on your glasses or headset and you're instantly in your home space. It has parts of your physical home recreated virtually. It has things that are only possible virtually. And it has an incredibly inspiring view of whatever you find most beautiful.
Hey, are you coming?
Yeah, just gotta find something to wear. All right, perfect. Oh, hey, Mark. Hey, what's going on?
Hi.
Mark.
What's up, Mark?
Whoa, we're floating in space? Who made this place? It's awesome.
Right? It's from a crater I met in LA.
This place is amazing.
Boz, is that you?
Of course it's me. You know I had to be the robot, man.
I thought I
So
was supposed
again, that's kind of goofy. It's early days, but think about what we saw with the metahumans and how human they look. And as this technology evolves, that metaverse is going to take on that reality. And this is why some will maybe perhaps opt to go live in that reality. Now you can say, that's just a game, but then Microsoft, they put $70 billion on the table to buy another video game company, Activision Blizzard. Microsoft is serious about getting into the metaverse. But fortunately, and the good news is, the people are saying, sorry, Mark, or the Beast Zuckerberg, that's not what we want. And Facebook had $250 billion in value wiped out in one day, biggest in history. That's a kick in the teeth to the beast, okay? That's a kick in the teeth to the beast. That's like when Google tried to give us those dorky Google Glass things, and people said, no way. There are limits to this, okay? And people are intuitively recognizing, this is a little too perverted, okay? And they're not using the word demonic, but they know there's something too weird about this. They don't want to participate in it because it's a great mocking. It's a perversion. It's a fake ascension. And that is their goal. They want to convince you that all of this business you've been talking about and devoting your life to, the kingdom of heaven spread out on earth, the pure land and these source realities, none of those places are real, is their argument to you. This is all just a video game, darling, and you're just a player in this game, and you're totally insignificant. And once the game's over, so are you. Imagine living with that kind of a perspective, that is your life. But that's what they're saying here. And this is what we have to combat, especially for our kids. We don't need them thinking that ascension and attaining a light body is as easy as clicking on these avatar programs and coming up with what you would look like if you were a cartoon. Why do I want to be a cartoon, right? It's just not what we want. Now, I tried to give both sides of this because I'm 99.999% sure that this is something we don't want to do and that it's probably demonic. And I keep the door open, that 0.00001%, in the possibility that maybe this is how God really does want us to evolve. I don't think so. But perhaps, who am I to judge God's creativity? Maybe God sent these big tech swingers and this technology as a way to advance us, right? But I don't think so. However, in 2007, a group of Stanford researchers decided to explore a novel question. What effect would a person's choice of online avatars have on their behavior? The findings were startling. Not only would the user operate the avatar in a way consistent with its appearance in the digital world, but the avatar's characteristics would shape the user's behavior back in the real one. Wow. Okay. That has some serious implications. It's profoundly positive in a way, because if you can visualize or create this more perfect, whole, holy, complete, and compassionate version of yourself online, it can model for you what you need to do in your physical world in order to become more whole, holy, complete, and compassionate, which is the definition of perfection. But there's a dangerous line where you think that suddenly this is how, and the only way that I can evolve spiritually is to create a fake version of myself to make my real version of myself a better version of myself. There's always this ego and mind split that goes on. Now, this is interesting because the Proteus effect is named after the Greek god Proteus, who's the old man of the sea, and comes and represents the subconscious. Carl Jung interpreted the sea as the subconscious, and that's where that comes from. So remember, I said there's two beasts, and the first beast comes out of the sea and is given authority and power by the dragon. Now that's kind of funny because I'm putting this overall premise here that the dragon in the book of Revelation represents a conglomeration of individuals or corporations that all subscribe to the dragon's goal of eliminating humanity from the face of the earth and from taking over humanity. And I really started to think of, just to connect a dot for you, I really started to think about these corporations as being all subservient to this dragon, which again could be an extraterrestrial technology, when I heard a presentation given by a Chinese economist to a group of Chinese government people and business people. It was just before the 2020 election, and this economist was telling them, we're not worried about the result of the 2020 election because we have old friends in Washington. And I'm thinking, what do you mean by old friends? Like you smoked dope in college together and now you keep in touch, you text? Or do you mean old friends? Are there like a group of reincarnating souls on this planet that are subservient to this dragon that periodically rise and they recognize each other? Oh yeah, you. Yeah, you're acting like a capitalist. You're worth $300 billion, but you also believe in total authoritarianism and complete control and censorship. That's what the dragon stands for. Oh, you must be of the dragon. You are the dragon, aren't you? That's what I started to realize, is that it doesn't matter if you're in Silicon Valley or in Seattle or in Beijing, you can still be subservient to the same boss. And in this instance, in my greatest fear, and at this moment it is a fear, I can't totally tell you these guys are all demonic, but they are enacting exactly what the book of Revelation said would be happening at this time. So perhaps they are part of this lineage of the dragon and want to completely transform us. They know they're introducing a monster. They know they are unleashing a beast on humanity. And the reason I say that is because of the commercials that they put out. This is Apple's commercial for their iPhone. I think this was, it doesn't matter which version, but I think this was like 4 or 5 years old. So this came out at Christmas time, and it just absolutely encapsulates their philosophy and how they view humanity. This is Frankenstein with his iPhone. He's playing an old song in new technology. He's got a plan. It's Mary Shelley who wrote Frankenstein. Frankenstein, the monster's actual name is Adam, by the way. And he's got a plan. Did you notice it's Christmas time, by the way? Comes to the village. The humans are terrified.
Oh, there's no place like home for the holidays. Okay.
Oops. A child steps forward, greets the monster, the beast, fixes it. The men are pussies. They stand by while this little 6-year-old, you know.
How far away you roam, when you pine for the sunshine of a friendly gaze, for the holidays you can't be home, sweet home.
There you go. What's the message there? Well, part of what I see is Adam, Frankenstein's monster. He's a conglomeration. He's made up of spare parts. He's a technology. And he figures out how to use technology, and he's going to go and he's going to talk to the humans, and they reject him. You bigots. How